The music world is mourning Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle, who was killed in a shooting in Los Angeles. Hussle was shot multiple times yesterday in a parking lot outside his clothing store. Two other men who were also shot are in stable condition today. Police are looking for the suspect. Hussle rose to stardom with self-released mixtapes in the mid-2000s. His debut album, Victory Lap, was just nominated for Best Rap Album at the Grammys in February. The artist also spoke and rapped about his time with the Notorious Crips gang as a teenager. The LAPD tweeted the rapper was scheduled to meet with police leaders today to discuss ways to stop gang violence. Fellow artists are all paying tribute to Hussle on social media. John Legend said he just saw Hussle on Thursday.
Let's start the reading now. I want to be as honest as I can with the information, and some of the information will make sense for you guys. Some of the information will only make sense to those who were around him or knew him. Just letting you know ahead of time. I will be talking about who he was based on the information that he's gonna give me back. I'm also gonna have some type of information for his partner, his relationship. The other topic that I'll be dealing is gonna be with his cause of death. What was really involved in his death, the person that was or is responsible for taking his life. And on the last section, I'm gonna give you a message that he has for you guys. Those are specifically the topics that we're gonna be talking about. He says, you know, like, I used to dress this way and now I am royalty. I can dress like royalty. But the way he describes it, it's like he feels proud of it because he worked for it. He earned it. He got to one point and then moved to another point. He had no fear of making choices. And he shows that off by what he wears, by his goal, his attitude, his personality. He wants to show off in a positive way what anyone can accomplish, because even though he showed himself in this way and he has this way to show his power, material power, what he wanted to give people, and many of you may not know this before, he wanted to show people what you can get when you follow yourself, your own path, your own guide. He wanted for everyone to see what you can do when you follow your path. That's what he's saying. That's the first message that I get from him. He don't want you guys to understand in a negative way who he was before he was killed. He was very proud. He had a lot of pride for everything that he accomplished. He overcome fears and he obtained knowledge. Knowledge is a word that comes here many times. It's describing him as a person that not only had material gains, in some type of way he had spiritual development. He was a person who was able to, on a spiritual level, obtain power as well, even though this is something he did not talk about. But only those around him know exactly what I'm talking about. He had some type of power. The power that people see, the material power that he had, is just one side of his development. He also had spiritual power. And he wanted to use this power and knowledge for the good of a lot of people. Some other information that I get from this reading, and it's very clear. It's about a project that he had. There was a project, an idea, it was already being developed. This idea, this project, would have made a great impact on a social way. It would have impact many people. What I'm gonna say might sound weird for some people, and I have to be very careful with the information I'm gonna be providing right now. Part of the reason why he was killed, it was because of a project that he had. He is saying it, and he is saying it loud and clear, very confident. Part of the reason I was taken out of the game is because I did not want it to follow some rules. Because he thought his actions were above the rule, because he had an intention of good. He wanted to share something that would have helped or changed many people. And that's why he's saying on a social level. He's saying that he had some specific plans to travel to some specific places. It was outside the US, and the reason for these travels was for him to obtain knowledge on a spiritual level. He had a specific plan for a specific place that he was going to travel, and those people around him, like his partner and close friends, knew, and they know about this travel that he had because he had communicated it to some other people, and that close group of people, they knew he was going to that place because he was interested on a specific thing that he knew he will be able to obtain a spiritual level, a spiritual knowledge. He was very drawn into all of this. He's saying that he has peace of mind, that there is calm after the storm. I am gonna quote what he's saying. This is a time for integration and harmony, and ease should prevail, he said. And I want you to keep that clear, and I want you to analyze this, because when I say quote, it's a message that I'm getting directly from this person who just crossed. It's describing like he's on a move, a journey over water to a destination that may be unknown to us. There's changes, there's evolution. People must understand that when the spirits leave the body, what dies is the body, not the spirit. The spirit continues to a new journey, and that for us is unknown. Before he passed away, before this situation came, he had this idea to start producing money out of the normal way he was used to produce money. He had a plan, and there was a reason behind that plan. He knew some things were gonna happen. He was getting ready for some type of war, fight. Before he left, there was a hidden situation going, and I'm going to that phase, I'm going to that information in a little while. But part of the reason he was getting this plan to produce money on a different kind of way was for him to protect his material power over a situation that was gonna be developing itself in the future. He knew about something that was gonna happen. There was a great powerful enemy before all of this situation came. Everything is unfolding. If you get the information, analyze the information, you're gonna be able to understand what I'm trying to say. But like I said before, I have to be careful with the information that I'm providing, because not only I have respect for this person who passed away, but because there's other topics involved, there are other people involved, and I have to be very careful, even myself, with the information that I'm sharing right now. He says that before his death, he was very stubborn and he was very inflexible in certain manners. There was a hidden fear. He said that he didn't agree on something because he wanted to stand by his beliefs. Part of the problem that led to his death was because there was something he didn't agree on. There was something that was placed in front of him, and he had no choice but to agree to that. And because this is a man that had a lot of faith and guided himself by his own beliefs, when that moment came, even though he knew it was going to be very dangerous and possibly impossible for him to overcome this problem, we're going to now go to his relationship to this person who was very attached to him, that he loved. I don't think there's no need to mention names. I am leading myself by the information that I'm getting. He's describing her as someone who always confronts. She always argues, but she argues because she has a point. She fights for what she wants. He describes this lady as aggressive in an intelligent way, because she knows what she wants. And he was very attracted to her because of the personality, that strong personality that she has. He's describing her in many ways with a lot of pride. He's telling her specifically with these words: you must pursue your own philosophical ideals. Do not let them change who you are. And he's saying this in a very aggressive way because he wants her to understand. He wants her to know that it's very important for her not to let them change who you are. There is situations that are gonna come for you, for this lady, and they are gonna try to change who she is, not confronting her because they know how she is, but finding a way to pursue, to make her do something without her realizing that she's doing it. And he doesn't want this girl to do this. He wants her to be aware of everything and not change who she is. He's saying, we talk about this, and I'm quoting him. He's saying, I talked to her about this, about the possibilities of the outcome based on the decisions that I made. She tried to avoid the conversation. She didn't want to hear this, but like I said, if someone knows this lady and gives her the information, he's saying it, and I am truly convinced this is true. He's saying that before he got killed, he had a conversation with this person that he loved, and he told her the possibilities, and one of the possibilities was him getting killed at any moment. We are going now to talk about this situation or person that is involved in his death. I want to tell people that you're gonna understand some of the information, but some of the information will only be understood by people who are involved and know what I'm talking about. his lover, his lady, his love. There's stuff that she knows, but she has to keep quiet. She has to follow her faith, but she has to keep quiet. There are rules, there are laws, even in a spiritual way. And some of you will understand what I'm talking about. Now let's talk about this situation that led to his death. When I asked him about his enemy or about the situation that caused his death, he immediately started describing a person of power. But this is not an ordinary person. And this is not the person you're watching on the news. This is not that guy that everyone's telling that killed him, that fired him. There is a lot more involved in his death. There's another figure, there's another entity, there's another person involved in his death. That's the first thing I got from him when I asked him about how he got killed, about the situation in his death. And he's describing this person as a figure of absolute command. There's a combination of symbols in here that suggests power and authority. This figure or entity will use his power forcefully if necessarily. This enemy, and I quote, is represented by air. This entity has power over mental process. A man of great strength, authority, and he wears a crown. Someone that can be related to the communication field with the attitude of a military officer. If I let myself go by the information I'm getting from this reading, the information I asked, there's a lot more involved in his death than you might all think. The person that you see in the news, the person that is gonna be making time in jail, that happened, that is true, that was the person that fired. But there was more involved, a lot more involved, that has to do with many other things that lots of you will not understand now, but those around him know. There's a circle of people who know what I'm talking about, and they know the price when you do not agree on that club. He's saying that this man, he holds power and he has a lot of eloquence when he speaks to people. Hussel is saying that he kept this matter to himself and this is only advertised to those sympathetic to the situation. What I'm saying, there's other people who knows because they are in some way not connected to his death, but connected to the source that made the decision to take him out. I'm not sure if you will be able to understand this, but this is the information that I'm getting, and I have the responsibility to say the things just as I get them and as I can define them with the cards. Like I said before, everything that I do with these cards, I do it with the most highest respect. Now, talking about this person that physically killed him, that was the one who fired him. He's describing this person as being under a dream. He's saying the killer was under a dream when he did it. He wasn't aware of what he was doing. I'm not saying he was innocent. You gotta have some type of negative seed in yourself so that you can be used by something higher. And that's exactly what happened here. This person who killed him, yes, there was something from the past. Yes, there was some type of negative energy that was inside of him. But when the killing was made, this person was under a dream. I am gonna quote something that he's saying. He's saying this person will have an ordinary life. He will deal on a daily basis with the nitty-gritties of whatever he did. I'm quoting, and he's saying, it's okay. Everything needs to regain perspective and balance. And I'm quoting him. I want you guys to understand that there's two sides in the information I'm giving you about his death situation. There's two main people involved in his death. One is the one that you will all see, the one that is gonna do time in jail, but there's another of great power involved in his death, and I am not allowed to talk anything else from that entity, and I am not even able to call him a person because of the amount of power that this man has. We're gonna talk now about something that he wants you to understand. It's a message that he wants to share. Before I did the reading, I asked him and I told him, I need a message from you, because I know that there's a lot of people that they want to know, once you cross, is there something you want to tell us? Is there something you are allowed to share? And that information is the information that I'm gonna give you right now. The Joker face. There's something greater that is beyond ordinary, that is beyond ordinary cares and concerns. There's a male figure that stands at the edge of a cliff. He is about to step off into thin air. He gazes his sprightly eyes and look upward, knowing the heavens supports him. This is an old traveler who has obviously been on the road for a long time. He wears costumes. Behind him, there's a sun. I think this information that he's giving me, it's about that person that was involved in his death. It's about that man with power. I think there's a lot of information in that. And the second message that I got from him is this. Sometimes he wears a party color costume and cap and bells of a medieval court jester. This figure is accompanied by a dog, which is a symbol of her natural instincts. The dog has the ability to follow an invisible trail using his nose and other senses, and he kind of like point out the word senses. Sometimes pulling the dog back from danger suggests that our instincts, if followed, do provide us with guidance on our life journeys. Trust the beneficency of the universe. And I quote, I think there's two meanings. I think there's a lot more than just one message behind this information. I think he's describing something that you have to get to know, but he's also describing a way to solve or to understand your own path. He's pointing out instincts, senses as words of guidance for you guys. There was also a message to a younger crowd, to younger people, and I'm gonna quote this because this is the last message that I got from him, and it says, Keep track of reality. Don't quit your daily job. Consider all of the pros and cons before making a choice. And I quote, that was the last message that I got from him. I truly believe, after reading this, that this is a person that before he left this world, his body, he had gained spiritual knowledge, but he was also involved in something that I'm not sure how to describe, but it is surrounded by power, authority, and while being part of that I am not able to name, there was a point where the boss didn't agree with something he was gonna do, and they talk about it, and it got to a point where the boss said, this is enough, there's nothing else to be done, and that person made a choice. This is based on rules that we do not know and that we do not yet understand, because just as there's legal laws, there are spiritual laws, and Hussel didn't understood this before he left, but now he does. He has no regrets. He feels a lot of harmony where he is. He doesn't even feel the need of vengeance or anything like it. There's something greater that we do not understand, but he's saying that if we guide ourselves by our own senses, we will understand many things at the end. He's saying, and he said this before, there's a need to leave behind, there's a need to give your back to that doesn't matter, to that doesn't compose anything. Follow your own path, follow your own beliefs. Don't let them change who you are. I'm not used to do readings for the dead. I felt the urge to do so, and I need you guys to understand that I ask based on my beliefs. I ask him if this was okay to be done, and he replied yes. If you guys have any kind of questions about what I do, about this reading, you can write down your comments or send me a message. I'm gonna provide you guys with my information in this video. I hope you take this information for your own good, for your own understanding. Sometimes we value things in life that we shouldn't value, and we ignore things that we should value. And many times when I communicate with the dead, they let me understand this, and this is how I learn as well. My page is named iConsultSpirits because literally I dedicate myself to provide you guys with information from the spirits. Thank you guys, and much blessing for you.
Started with self-released mixtapes in the mid-2000s. His debut album, Victory Lap, was just nominated for Best Rap Album at the Grammys in February. The artist also spoke and rapped about his time with the Notorious Crips gang as a teenager. The LAPD tweeted the rapper was scheduled to meet with police leaders today to discuss ways to stop gang violence. Fellow artists are all paying